Right, kids, here we are, lesson 3, level 4, using constants again. This is going to be the Choose Your Own Adventure C. And I think, it's going to be the same thing. I believe in this one there is a different, it's not an int, I might be a double this time. Yeah, it is. Looking over there on the left-hand side in the to-do, that's what it says. But again, I want to go over this so I know what I'm dealing with. So in the Climate Risk Runner class, there is a 1D array of country objects named countries. And inside that array, there are country objects that have a name and some sort of a climate risk score, I guess. So, and that's a double. And then we instantiate a climate risk object. So here's my climate risk object named data. And it takes countries, that countries array right above, as a parameter or an input. And then we are printing out data dot get high risk countries, and since it's the data is the climate risk object, I'm fairly certain that this get high risk countries is not a static method. So let's look at the climate risk class. So here's my climate risk class. There's one private instance variable. It is an array of country objects named countries. That's what they're calling it here. Now, not that it matters, but it's just inside the class. Here's a constructor. And that constructor takes an array of country objects. And then here is the get high risk countries. And so my guess is this is the thing that we are going to want to change, that number there, and but we'll come back to it in a second. Let's look at the country class. So in the country class, there are two private instance variables. There's a name of the country and the climate risk index. And I believe that index needs to be lower to be considered a high risk. Here's the constructor for the country object. Each country object takes a name and an index, just like we saw over here. Each of these country objects takes a name and an index. And then this is the getIndex method. That's easy to do. And then there's the public string, the toString method, where it's going to return a name, colon, index, climate risk index, just like we've been seeing on all these other ones so far. So let's go over here to this climate risk class, and let's declare and initialize our constant. So private, static, final, and this is a double, and that is max, not equals, I'm sorry, max, high, risk, and that will be set equal to 20. And I'm going to grab this one. I don't have to type it again because I'm lazy. And I'll go down here and I'll put it right there. And let's run this puppy and see what happens. And just like we thought, and again, I'll keep going over this, this line in my output comes from here. And then there's a new line and prints out a bunch of dashes. And then there's a new line again. And then this method here starts getting the country to print out, and when it gets to that country, it goes to the toString method, and the toString method prints out the name of the country, just like we saw, a colon with a space, the index, and the climate risk index, those words there. So let's run the test, see if the test shows up, and it did. Man, I am on a roll.